Hey guys, today we're going to be taking a look at another scan hot seller. Today we've got the Gigabyte B650 Gaming X AX V2. Now if you order the normal V1 or just the AX, you will get the V2, so you actually get an upgrade for the same price, which is what happened when this got delivered. I actually asked for the AX and this one turned up, so just so you're aware, don't freak out, you do get actually a little bit of a better version than the previous one as well, so that's a bit of a win. This is currently selling for $159 on Scan Computers UK. They have a massive range of different components, anything you could possibly need to build your own system. They also have their 3XS pre-built systems if you don't want to actually build it yourself. They also have some pro audio video gear, loads and loads of stuff, and I will link them down below. Of course, thank you to them for sending this out for me to look at. So we've got a couple of SATA cables, one of which is right angled, 3 M.2 screws if you want to add any additional ones. You've got some Wi-Fi antennas, and then a installation guide. So a bit more basic with the things that are in the box, but of course we're going to be looking at this primarily anyway. Now although it does have gaming branding, I don't think this would be out of place as a workstation board, especially with the features that it offers. Of course we'll run through that. This has got a direct 8+2+2 phase digital VRM. The board actually is a lot heavier than I expected it to be for this price point as well, so I can see why this has got the hot seller name to it. So let's take a look around the actual board itself. On the top we have got a 4 and then an 8 pin for EPS. These are solid pins as well. We have got 3 fan headers. Next to those we've got 2 standard 12 volt RGB connectors. Then on the right we have got a 5 volt addressable. Going down we've got the 24 pin for power, and then we've also got a reset switch, which is a nice thing to see in a board of this price. Generally don't see that until you pay up like upwards of £300, so really good thing to see there. We've got our second system fan. We've got our USB-C header there. It's USB 3.2 Gen 2x2, so 20 gigabits per second. Going on the right angle we've got some SATA connectors, so if you want to put any additional hard drives or SSDs in your system you can do. There's a right angle USB 3 connector, so this is USB 3.2 Gen 1. CMOS battery at the bottom. Then we've got our front panel connections, another system fan, and then 2 USB 2 headers, great for anything that uses hubs like NZXT, for example, Corsair Commanders. We've got another 5 volt addressable RGB, and then another standard 12 volt. Then we've got our front panel audio on the bottom left. So going back up to the socket, so AM5, so we have support for 7000 and 8000 series processors. We've also got some display outputs on the back of the board as well if you wanted to use an 8000 series processor. Our memory support, DDR5, we have got up to 128 gigabytes of DDR5 at 6400 mega transfers per second. You can use, of course, Expo or what's the other one, DOCP, all these things to remember. And of course, if you want to go higher with your voltages, you can manually do that as well. Going down to our storage and slots, let's have a look at our first M.2 heatsink here. So just one screw to undo, then that pops out. Fairly chunky bit of metal there, and you have got a thermal pad on the back. Bit of protective peel, so make sure you take that off when you install your drive. That will take up to 110mm drive at Gen 4 speeds. There's no Gen 5 support on this board, but it is a bit more of a budget one, so that's obviously why. We have got a couple more further down. Let's have a look at these ones. Taking off this one, 2 more thermal pads on the back, and then support for another 2 110mm drives. So a total of 3 110mm drives in this board at Gen 4 speeds. Our PCIe slots, the top one is an X16, we're running at Gen 4. You've also got a quick release latch on the back of there if you're going to be swapping in and out GPUs. Then the ones at the bottom are the PCIe Gen 3, so they won't be quite so fast, but you can always use them for things like sound cards and capture cards and things like that. So looking at the rear I/O, we have got 2 USB 2 ports, we've got a PS2 port, still very reliable, and a lot of people still do use PS2 ports, so it is a good option to have. We've got our Wi-Fi points, this will support Wi-Fi 6E. We've got a display port and also an HDMI, so if you're going to use an 8000 series processor, you're good to go with those. That is a 1.4 display port and then a 2.1 HDMI. White USB is USB 2, also the one for your updating your BIOS if you want to do that. You've also got USB 3.2 ports, different colours but still USB 3.2 regardless. You've got another 2 to the right hand side, USB Type-C port, this is 20 gigabits per second, so USB 3.2 Gen 2x2. And then we've also got 2.5 gig LAN and some basic audio. Pretty feature-rich board there. Certainly feels a lot more expensive than it is, which is obviously a good thing. Big old beefy VRM would certainly take a 7800X3D, I'm sure, without any problems. I think that's what we might put in it actually when we use it in a build. So any more questions, then let me know down in the comments box below and I'll get back to you. I will put the links for this in the description box if you want to pick one up. Of course, big thank you to Scan for sending this out for me to look at. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.